In today's video, I'm going to be exposing the 3 psychological elements that I use in my content to attract shut up and take my money buyers directly from my content alone, without sales calls, without having to convince, without sending a bunch of follow-ups, because I have people who already pre-sold into my offers, whether this is $500 or this is 4 figures or 5 figures, because I have mastered these psychological triggers that are designed to collapse the buying timeline and actually move the entire buying process. So make sure you save this video and make sure you come back to this at least 10 times because this is going to be super duper valuable. And make sure to have your notebook and also pen ready so then you can actually take notes. This is the entire system behind how I run a multi-six-figure business at the age of 21, all from my content, and how I created an entire system that has the right people coming into my offers, into my DMs, that are ready to buy without me having to say a single word. Now, the first pillar is going to be belief shifting content. In this day and age, we have so much access to so many different chat GPTs. So people are not basically buying from you based on how much value you give or how much you can stuff everything into one single post alone. They buy when you offer them an internal belief shift. Are you able to see something that they couldn't see for 6 months straight? Are you able to pin out the exact blind spots within 6 seconds of looking at their page? Are you able to see the exact thing that's stopping them from actually getting to, let's say, stacked MRR of like 5 figures each and every single month? What is the one thing that you're able to spot within seconds, and how are you able to diagnose, hey, this is not actually the problem that you think you have, but this is the actual problem. And once we work together, or once you use my methodology, this is how you get to X, Y, and Z. An example of this would be, let's say you are a mindset or messaging or content coach or a leadership coach, right? If you coach around content but also mindset, maybe your audience thinks her problem is she just needs better content, she needs a new framework, there's something wrong with her messaging, when in reality the reason as to why she's stuck within an income ceiling has nothing to do with the strategy itself. She's pretty damn good at what she's doing. She's taken a bunch of content courses, she understands how sales psychology works, and she knows how the buying behavior works. She doesn't need a new 5-step strategy. She doesn't need another system that she can implement. She doesn't need a new funnel. You know what is actually stopping her from actually getting to her goal of, let's say, multi 5-figure months, the dreamiest clients signing up into her offers, and literally having her DMs filled with dream clients to the brim, wanting to work with her, and her having to create an entire wait list because she has way too much demand for her body of work, is exactly because she has doubt when it comes to onboarding dream clients. She wants dream clients. She wants to work with the dreamiest high caliber clients, those industry leaders that she deeply admires. She wants to work with women who are a match to her mastery, women who mirror her, women who are not victim clients, women who actually implement and do the work and are all in, clients who are literally reflections of her. But the second they do enter her DMs, that is when she kind of hesitates. That is when she kind of leans back and she gets actually scared. And that's when her conviction starts to dip. That is when the person that she is in her content is the complete opposite of who she is behind the scenes, because now she's actually thinking, her immediate thought isn't, oh my gosh, like I'm so excited to work with this industry leader that I've admired for so long, and I'm so excited to help her scale her business. I know my body of work is incredible. She's going to see incredible results working with me, right? Her immediate thought is, oh my gosh, what if she thinks my marketing is better than what I teach? What if she's not satisfied with what I actually teach? What if she thinks I'm underwhelming? And she has all these like internal beliefs, and the conviction that she has in her content starts to disappear as she actually goes through the entire sales process with the lead. And therefore, the lead doesn't purchase, not because she's not good at her methodology, not because she's not great at her body of work, but because she can sense the conviction slipping away as soon as it gets closer to the pitch. So the lead actually goes from, hey, actually, I really want to work with you. I know you're the woman that I know would actually help 10x my business, to maybe next time, actually, let me think about this, right? So it's not really her content that is the problem. It's actually the conviction that she has in the DMs. She feels responsible of carrying the results for her dream dream client, she feels the responsibility of getting her audience to X, Y, and Z result because they paid her X, Y, and Z amount. She's not as convicted as she says she is in her content when it comes to the entire DMs. And people can feel that frequency because sales is all a energy exchange. That is the only thing that's stopping her from actually getting to X, Y, and Z, desire or X, Y, and Z month that she has been putting on her vision board for the longest time, right? Boom. Aha moment. Oh my gosh. Now I cannot unsee it. It's not actually my content that needs work. It's actually the leadership, the conviction, and the mindset that actually needs work. And therefore, this gives an obvious reason as to, damn, like I need to hire this woman because if she can tell the exact leak that I've been trying to figure out for months within like seconds of just talking to me, imagine what it would be like to work with her for 6 and 12 months. I'm literally going to skyrocket. Right? Content is all about internal belief shifting. You want to show your audience and your dream client how you can see her problem, how you can diagnose from a different lens. That is what actually gets her going from like, oh my God, like she's a great coach to like, she is literally the coach I want to hire. Another belief shift would be the fact that she thinks her problem is, oh, she doesn't know her dream client well enough. That is why she gets red flag clients or yellow flag clients or victim clients. So she constantly goes back to that Google Doc tweaking her dream client avatar, her ICA, and like spends hours like just like working on like who the characteristics is, what's the identity of my dream client, when in reality, the reason as to why she's attracting red flag clients has nothing to do with actually the document itself. It has everything to do with her leadership and her standards. It has everything to do with the way that she is showing up behind the scenes and has nothing to do with her content. Maybe she is saying one thing in her content but doing the complete opposite behind the scenes. Maybe she says that she has high standards when it comes to clients defaulting on payments, but she always makes excuses for her clients whenever they do default on payments. Maybe she's bending over backwards for her clients. Maybe she's not making enough clear of a boundary when it comes to working with her clients, that she's constantly replying to them on her own free will at 11 p.m. in the evening on a Sunday night when she really should be sleeping, but she feels like she wants to like basically people please, right? She feels like, oh, the person is obligated to ask me X, Y, and Z question at X, Y, Z in time or take advantage of mentorship because she's paid me. That is why you keep attracting the red flag clients. That is why you keep attracting victim clients. That's why you're not attracting the dreamiest clients that you say you want. Because the actions that you're doing are really contradicting what exactly you're saying in your content itself, right? So the thing is not X, Y, and Z problem, it's X, Y, and Z problem. Do you see the pattern here? We are diagnosing her with the actual problem beneath the problem itself. So the problem she thinks she has versus the actual problem and how our methodology can actually solve that. That is how you create good internal shift posts that is going to make your audience feel like, oh my gosh, like she's literally in my head. And that not only builds trust, but also collapses the entire buying timeline, because now you've just opened an entire loop around this new topic. And now you've also opened a loop around, okay, how do I fix this? Like now that I know I don't have that problem, like how do I actually fix this? What are the next steps? What are the step-by-step process? And this is where your offer basically solves the problem. Now, the next principle is basically dissolving objections when it comes to your content. Now, everyone thinks that the sales process happens as soon as you get on the sales call, as soon as they DM you the keyword, as soon as they inquire, as soon as they enter your DMs, but that could be far from the truth because the sales process does not happen in the DMs. In fact, it happens the very first moment she steps on your page. And also, objections, they do not happen as soon as they enter the DMs. It happens way before she enters the DM. So if you want to eliminate the objections altogether, you actually need to tackle this in your content first. And you have to understand from your dream client's point of view, what is the actual objection under the objection? Because I can guarantee you the first objection that they throw at you is a complete smokescreen, and there's always going to be layers of objection after objection after objection. And it is your job, if you want to convert, to make sure you can peel back all those layers and actually find the actual hesitation or the internal limitation that is basically creating this resistance in the entire buying process. My favorite way of handling objections objections is not by handling it through DMs and asking, oh, like, what's the cost of like not investing today? But it's by handling it in the DM. So I'm giving her this objection handling sequence before her subconscious can even form an objection itself. I do this in many ways, but one of my favorite ways is by doing it through analogies and by leveraging through giving her a visceral experience that she can basically live through so that it directly talks to her subconscious. And I'm not just asking her questions such as like, what's the cost of like not investing today, right? What is it going to look like for you in 3-6 months time? I'm offering her a visceral experience so that this not only creates trust, but it also gets her to look at it from a different lens. And it's very important to know that when you are handling objections or when you're creating content around objection handling, that you have to remind them that it's not a me versus you situation. The last thing that you want to do in the entire sales process and in your content is me versus you, right? It should be me and you versus the problem that we're actually solving so that you can get to X, Y, and Z. So one of the very infamous analogies that I love to use is honestly the love life analogy. And this is the perfect analogy that I use in my content whenever my lead has worked with a bunch of mentors before, but then doesn't exactly know if this is like the right move because they've been either disappointed by a lot of mentorships before, or they have invested heavily into mentorship, but they didn't get XYZ that was promised. I always make sure to ask them like, hey, like, have you dated before? Like, do you have an ex? Have you been in a relationship before? I know it does not make sense right now, but I promise you it will make sense afterwards. And they always say yes. And I always say, okay, you've been in a relationship before. Just because like you broke up like with your past boyfriend, like, does that mean that you are not going to, find love again? Does that mean you're just going to stop going on dates? Does that mean you're not going to go on dating apps, or you're going to go to a cute coffee shop and pretend to be confused so that you get noticed by this like really cute stranger? Of course not, because at the end of the day, you still want to live that fairy tale dream. You still want to have your dream partner. You still want to live this like fairy tale romance. You still want to become a mom. You want to have your dream wedding, and you genuinely want a green flag man who basically gives you the princess treatment 24/7, if not 25/8, right? And they're always like, yeah, like, and that's exactly the same when it comes to your business, right? Just because you have worked with a bunch of coaches before and it didn't work out, or you didn't see X, Y, and Z, or it just didn't satisfy your expectations, does that mean you're going to give up seeing X, Y, and Z outcome? Does that mean you're going to just stop? Does that mean like, okay, this business is not a priority for me? Of course not. Just because one relationship didn't work out, does that mean you're going to stop looking for love and trying to find the one? Of course not. So the same principle actually applies when it comes to your business. Another analogy that I love to use is the roller coaster analogy. When it comes to investments, like, even if you are talking to high caliber clients and your dream clients, of course, we feel fear. We are human at the end of the day. Everyone is going to feel fear when they make investments, when they take a big leap in their business, when they make a choice. But it's up to you on whether you choose to lean into the fear, or you let the fear basically stop you or not let you get to X, Y, and Z, right? There are two choices. Like, it's basically like a roller coaster. You can either lean into the fear and say, you know what, F this, I'm going to go on the roller coaster. I don't care. I want to challenge myself. Or you can walk out the park feeling disappointed, feeling regret, asking yourself, why did I go on the roller coaster? And then you're laying in bed at 9 p.m. in the same night thinking, damn, I should have gone. Like, it looked so fun. And now you're looking through the roller coaster on YouTube and you're like, damn, like, I literally now, if I want to do this again, I have to pay for another ticket. I have to spend another day going to the roller coaster, or wait in line again. I'm gonna be all sweaty and things like that. You get the gist of it, right? You can either walk out of the park feeling regret, or you can walk out the park feeling like you are the main character, being so proud of yourself and just feeling like you have accomplished so much because you leaned into that fear, you faced it, and yeah, that drop was scary, but you challenged yourself and you feel amazing. In fact, you want to go again, right? Everyone is going to feel that fear in line. You're going to hear the roller coaster like screams. You're going to like see those people being like, oh my God, it's scary, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to feel fear. You're going to want to go exit, right? But it's up to you whether you decide, okay, today I want to challenge myself. I want to stretch myself. I truly want to see how it's like to meet my edge, or just basically chicken out. It's up to you. It's really your responsibility to see whether this is a priority for you. This is not a decision that I can make for you. It's really up to you. And is your priority literally changing your business in 6 months time, 12 months time, and literally quantum leaping and 10xing everything that you're seeing right now? Or is it just playing it safe? Because if you want to play it safe, that is completely fine with me as well. I'm not going to stop you. You are an intelligent adult who can make decisions based on what exactly you want. And those are examples of analogy that I love using when it comes to content, when it comes to DMs. Like, just sprinkle this into the content itself so that you're not like kind of like closing her, or you're not kind of pitching her in the traditional way, but you're offering her an experience and you're also tying it to something that she has experienced before, right? So we're bypassing also the logical mind when we're giving them this explanation and directly into their subconscious. So it's not coming from a place of logic. We're coming from a place of lived experience. And what's also better is if you include all these senses. So what does she hear, feel, touch, see at that exact moment? So she can actually picture herself in that exact scenario and compare it to you selling or the pitch or the offer itself. And finally, the last one, when it comes to creating content, I make sure I'm reverse engineering everything from my offers, whether it's my micro offer, whether it's my passive program, whether it is my one-on-one spaces, into the content itself. So I always like to split every single offer or my entire methodology into 3 core pillars and then work my way through it. So an example for me, I focus a lot on content and messaging. So my 3 pillars would be sales psychology, it would be positioning, and it would also be magnetic messaging. And I simply just reverse engineer everything that I teach inside of those programs directly into my content. So I'm not working smarter, or it's not working smarter, what the hell? I'm not working harder, I'm working smarter, and I'm using my time efficiently when it comes to creating content. Because the last thing I want you to do is come up with like a new principle every single time when it comes to creating content. The last thing I want you to do is wake up every single day and wonder like, what the hell do I post? How can I like come up with a brand new topic? No. Your favorite entrepreneurs and the most successful people all reverse engineer from their offers into their content. So when it comes to actually their content and you wanting to invest in it, you've already experienced part of what they include inside the offers itself. It does not feel as scary as like if you do not know entirely what their offer entails. For me specifically, I really focus on messaging and I really focus on content. So my 3 pillars when it comes to reverse engineering my offers into my content would be focusing on positioning, messaging, and also sales psychology. So whenever I come up with content, I'm not constantly wondering, okay, what should I post, or like how can I talk about X, Y, and Z topic? I know these 3 pillars, okay, messaging, sales psychology, and positioning. How can I take micro topics specifically from these 3 pillars, reverse engineer, but also come from new angles every single time? So I'm still talking about the same topic, but then I'm funneling them in to my offers, and they're also reminded of like what exactly I teach because of the repetition when it comes to my content. So hopefully all of these principles make sense, and hopefully you start applying this into your business, into your content, and into your entire system, so that content doesn't only become easier, but you're also working more effectively when it comes to content. And you're not just like posting randomly. You're not waking up one morning wondering, okay, what do I post? You know exactly, okay, these are the triggers that I need to target. This is exactly how I'm going to speak to the subconscious. Here's exactly how I'm leveraging sales psychology. And here's exactly how I'm collapsing the buying timeline by understand buying behavior and also human behavior. And obviously I have so many other programs that actually goes way in depth around how I apply this into my business in my day-to-day, and more psychological based explanations around this. And I'll definitely leave this in the link in bio, but hopefully you enjoy this video and hopefully it has helped you out so much.